Welcome back to Theresa.is.Dead. My name is Theresa and I'm very much alive. And if you're new here, welcome. I have an awful garbage mouth, and if you're not into that or weird shit in general, this is not the place for you. Feel free to exit out the video here, no harm, no foul. But I'll remember our time fondly. If you want to jump straight to the overall review of the product, I'll leave a time code down below. Feel free to jump ahead. Guys, I want to share with you a little story on how I got this palette. This morning I woke up very, very excited because I wanted to see what this fucking palette was going to look like because they kept teasing it online. And then when I saw the yellow in the palette, I literally lost my fucking mind like I always do when I see yellow in a palette. And I was like, oh my god, I need to get it, I need to get it. So I did my makeup, or at least most of my base, and I went to Ulta when it opened at 11 a.m. So when I was in there, of course, I saw the palette, and then I did about a half an hour lap around the store because basically Alex wasn't with me, so I was not on a leash and I wanted to touch everything, and I did. I didn't really get much. It was just actually a couple of eyebrow products because I really like the Anastasia Beverly Hills brow definer, but I want to see if I can get like a cheap dupe of it because I'm tired of constantly paying $24 for it. Anyway, I digress. But I started noticing now while I was in the store that there was just like a gaggle of teenagers, like little girls, like they're probably like 14-year-olds, and they all had matching jackets that were like Miss Jackie's Dance Troupe or some fucking shit or whatever. It actually reminded me of like Sparkle Motion, like Donnie Darko.
Sometimes I doubt your commitment to Sparkle Motion.
So then there was just like a gaggle of girls around the store just running around giggling and shit. So then I head online, and of course it's a very long line and there's only like 2 people that are open. And everybody that's in front of me on this line happens to be one of the girls from this dance troupe, and they're all holding this palette. And I'm thinking to myself like, oh fuck, like I feel really old right now. Like I'm just like looking around thinking like, oh my god, like first of all, I didn't know who the fuck this chick was, and I'm thinking like, oh my god, this is probably meant for teenagers. What am I doing with my life right now? Now I feel like I'm keeping my head down because I'm just like embarrassed by it, because I'm like, wow, I'm literally going to be 34 years old. I am 20 years older than these girls. Who the fuck am I right now? I feel like I'm gonna be on a list somewhere. You know what I mean? Like I got really uncomfortable. So all the girls are all giggling like, oh my god, I got this palette, yay! And then they all leave the store. And of course when the lady rings me up, she was like,
Tarte has some cute packaging.
I want to be like, shut the fuck up. I know how old I am, okay? So sell me the fucking palette. So she sells me the palette or whatever, and I leave the store, and right next to the Ulta is a Starbucks. So I go into the Starbucks, and of course Sparkle Motion's in there, and they're all like giggling and like jumping and like baton twirling. I don't know what teenagers do or whatever. Now I'm sitting behind them, they were all like,
oh my god, do you know who Julian kissed? Like, oh my god, I know. Like, can you believe that? Oh my god, yeah.
And now I'm kind of like eavesdropping because I'm a creep, and I'm like listening to their conversation. I think when they noticed that I was listening, they would just like kind of clam up and literally scream stranger danger at me. So that was awesome. So then when I had to wait for my drink, these girls again were talking about Julian kissing some fucking bitch or whatever. And they were like,
oh my god, we should all go to the Forever 21. Let's go to the Forever 21. Okay, guys.
And so Forever 21 is actually like right across from the Starbucks. And I was thinking to myself, I kind of want to know who Julian kissed. Maybe I should go follow them. But then I thought to myself, do you hear what you're saying right now? You're definitely gonna end up on a list somewhere. Stop it. Just fucking stop it. And I'm like, all right, I need to like get an Uber. Let me get home. Let me play with this palette or whatever. I already felt embarrassed and ashamed. I get into my Uber and I'm like, whatever, listening to music. And of course this guy wants to talk, which normally I don't mind, but like if I have my headphones in, I just don't feel like fucking talking to anybody. I just don't want to talk to anybody, okay? So this guy starts talking to me. He's just like,
oh, so are you working today?
No, I'm just, I have off today.
Oh, that's great. So what were you doing?
What the fuck does it matter? I was like, I was shopping.
Oh, that's great. So are you working tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm working tomorrow. I work Monday to Friday.
What do you do for a living?
Now, here's the thing. I could be honest and tell them what I do for a living, but it's usually boring and blah, and I don't want to do it, and I don't want to talk about it. So I figured, you know what? If this guy is going to talk to me for the rest of my commute, I might as well make it interesting. So I said, I work for the FBI. His eyes grew really big in the rearview mirror and was like,
you work for the FBI?
Yeah, I work for the FBI.
Oh my god, that's amazing. What do you do for the FBI?
And now I'm like, fuck. I was hoping that he wouldn't say anything and then he'd be like, okay, fine, and then like completely ignore me. I had to think now on the fly, what do I do for the FBI? So I said, I solve tech crimes. It made sense in my head.
Really? That's so interesting.
Yeah. In my head, I'm like, who are you right now, you stupid bitch? What are you even saying? So then he's like,
wow, that must be crazy. Like, there's a lot of technology.
yeah, and there's a lot of crime to go along with it.
Do you ever go on vacation?
Oh yeah, of course when I can, when the FBI doesn't need me, I go on vacation.
Where do you go on vacation?
Fiji. I've never been to Fiji before, but I figured, what? FBI Theresa would go to Fiji.
Oh, that's great. Can I tell you about this wonderful timeshare opportunity?
Joke's on me. So for the next 15 minutes, he told me everything about this timeshare opportunity that he was trying to sell to me. And being that he thought I worked for the FBI, which meant big bucks in his eyes, he was trying to make me purchase a timeshare from him. He then told me that maybe there might be timeshare opportunities in Fiji, but he knows I can definitely get a timeshare in Florida. It's pretty much the same thing. So that's what I get for trying to pretend I'm living a lavish lifestyle. Needless to say, he dropped me off. I think I just need to just stop just talking in general. Yeah, anyway, that was my Sunday. How was yours? On today's video, we're going to be talking about the new Tarte Adelaine Morin palette, which is this little guy right here. But before I give you my overall thoughts, let me read you a little bit about the palette first. Adelaine Morin Eye and Cheek palette retails for $39. Calling all #AdelaineAngels, we've celebrated with the sensational Adelaine Morin to create this beautiful and bright eye and cheek palette with high performance shades chosen and named by Adelaine. 9 creamy, freshly picked eyeshadows with super blendable pigment, 1 highlighter and 1 blush shade that complements multiple skin tones, Amazonian clay infused formulas for all day wear and vibrant color payoff. So if you're anything like me, you're probably saying to yourself, well, who the fuck is she? Well, that's a great question, because before today I had no idea who she was. So I learned about this collaboration, I want to say like maybe a week ago on Trend Mood's page, where they just showed a picture of her and the girl had like a little sign that said Tarte X Adelaine Morin coming April 7th. Now in the description I noticed that there was a lot of yellow emojis, so I kind of was very hopeful that this would be an all yellow palette. I was like, ooh, I need to keep my eye on this. So last night I was hunting and looking for any sort of image of this palette and nothing was to be found. It's actually really piquing my interest even more that there was nothing being teased about it. The only thing that they teased about it, other than that one picture on Trend Mood's page, is if you went to Tarte, there was actually a small video of where it looked like shredded cheese was over the palette and then a gust of wind comes and all the shredded cheese leaves and then the palette's there. Needless to say, I went to bed, I woke up this morning and I checked my phone immediately because I'm a psycho, and I saw that it was this palette. And I was like, oh bitch, I gotta see this shit in person. So I had to wait for Ulta to open up at 11 a.m. and I went there this morning. It was very interesting because it was me and a bunch of 14-year-old girls buying this palette, so I've never felt so old in my life. But you know what? I'm here for science purposes. It's gonna be fine. I love the whole aesthetic of this palette. I think it's really beautiful. I love the little lemons. I love the logo here with this kind of baby pink detail. It definitely speaks to the 14-year-old that lives inside me. So when I open her up, you get this beautiful full-size mirror. It does say Adelaine X Tarte, and you get these beautiful shades. You get 9 shades over here and you get 1 blush and 1 highlighter. So I really like this palette. See, I can't even talk because I loved working with this palette. I had no issue with it. It was a beautiful fucking palette. And you're probably saying, well, that palette has been done before. And yes, it has. It's very similar to the ColourPop Yes Please palette. This color story is not revolutionary by any means. It's been done many fucking times. And quite frankly, I think everybody's sick of it. However, I just get weak for yellow. I'll be honest. I really do. Anytime there's a yellow in a palette, I'm kind of like, my knees buckle and I'm like, here's my money. Like, take it. I don't even know who I am anymore. Why? This is the 3rd Tarte product. This is the 3rd Tarte product, I think in a row, that I'm literally falling head over heels for. I'm literally sucking their dick and do you see the confusion in my face, bitch? Because it's there. I don't get it. Okay, let's just, all right. Here's the deal. So for $39, which by the way is a steep price tag, for $39, what do you get? Like I mentioned before, you get these 9 eyeshadows, you get this 1 blush, this 1 highlighter. Let's talk about the blush and highlighter first. This blush is very beautiful. It's very like peachy pink. I love it because it's just like a nice flush of color. I think I went a little ham on one side because I was kind of like dipping my brush in because I didn't know how much pigment there was going to be. And then I was like, bam, Campbell Soup kit. So I kind of tried to diffuse it a little bit, but honestly, it's really nice, especially when you sheer it out. I think it's just a very pretty peachy pink color, and it's gonna be so good in the summertime, actually even in the springtime. This palette is definitely for now. The other guy in here is this beautiful highlighter called Promise Ring, which I don't know how I feel about the name of that, but whatever. I think promise rings are fucking stupid, but that's just me, maybe because I'm old. I love this highlighter. It reminds me of the highlighter that I just, actually, you know what? Hold on one second. I just want to actually look at the Icy Betch palette highlighter because I think this is way, yeah, this is definitely more pale. Okay, so Icy Betch is more pale, while this is definitely more of a gold tinge to it. So for this highlighter, I applied it with a brush and a finger, and I have to say that even with like one swoop of the brush, there was a lot of pigment there. However, I like to look like a glowy alien sex doll, so I just kept packing this shit on because I just want to look like a fucking Big Mac, okay? I want to be greasy as fuck, and I love that I can achieve that with this. I think it's really beautiful. Let's talk about the eyeshadows. I do not have a bad thing to say about them. I don't have a bad thing to say about them. They're fucking perfect. They're awesome. I love them. I know what I just said, okay? I know. I really, really like this palette, more so than I thought I would. First of all, it's the Amazonian Clay formula, which is very similar to the Icy Betch palette, which if you haven't seen my review, I'll link it up here. Please go check it out, it's fun. The pigment is beautiful. They're able to build up, blend out. This yellow down here, this yellow, this bitch. I don't know why I thought it'd be cool to swatch on my hand. I don't know. It's just like over here on this side has like all blush and shit, so I figured I'll just put it over here. This is really beautifully pigmented. I did notice though, however, if I have a packer brush, I get better results as opposed to a fluffy brush. So on this side, I actually used the yellow in my crease with a fluffier brush, and I had to build up the color there. But if you're using a packer brush, this shit is not here to play. Like, the bitch is gonna fucking stick around. I love that about this goddamn palette, bitch. I am just so fucking surprised. I have to say that they are some of the nicer Tarte eyeshadows that I have used. I think between this and the Icy Betch palette and the Tarte Remix palette, I'm very happy with their quality. And I really hope that this brand continues to use this formula quality, because then I will buy a lot of their fucking palettes. I know, it's a heavy claim, but I'm laying it right there because I really firmly believe that. By the way, this shit smells like chocolate. Kind of giving me a little bit Too Faced vibes, except, you know, this works. So for both of my eye looks, I pretty much used every color. Yeah, no, for all my eye looks, I used every color. I would say probably the only shade that I was really the least excited about was this Adelaine Morin shade up here. I believe that shade is kind of there more if you want to set your lid, or for me, what I did was I would use that shade to kind of buff out any sort of harsh edge, which quite frankly, I really didn't have any harsh edges. If anything, that shade actually helped blend things together. So I'm going to zoom you in close to show you what I'm talking about. So I was able to kind of use that shade up there. I just love how it kind of just brings like a beautiful softness to the looks. What I really love about this palette is that all the colors blend so well together and that they all work well together, which is usually sometimes kind of hard because I find that sometimes when you're using a bunch of different colors, they become muddy or they become one color. However, with this palette, I found that everything just played so well together. I really don't have a bad thing to say about this. Now, here's my only issue with it is that the price on this guy is $39. Now, $39 is technically expensive for this kind of a palette, and I remember last year around this time I reviewed the Tarte Aspen Ovard palette, and it's actually kind of funny because apparently that was Amazonian Clay, but I refuse to believe that because that palette was fucking disgusting. And if you actually want to see a really awkward version of me shit on Tarte so hard, I'll leave the video up here. Definitely go check it out. It's really funny. That's probably the only video I got the most hate on. I don't give a fuck. I had such a better experience with it. Everything just works so well together. My whole point is that the Aspen Ovard palette was $39, and to me that was not worth a dime, right? Although the packaging was very sick on that one. The packaging was very pretty. The packaging is really cute. This is not $39 worth cute. You know what I mean? Had this been $29, I would be like, yes, bitch, take my fucking money. Especially since this guy is $24 and you get 9 shades, 1 highlighter. This is literally $15 more and all you're getting is a blush. So for me, even though I love this fucking palette, I think $39 is pretty fucking steep. Well, I totally, fully, highly recommend this palette because I think it's really pretty. I think this is going to be a really nice spring summer palette for sure. Definitely like your Coachella palette too. Who am I? Jesus Christ. While I love the fuck out of this palette, when I compare it to this, the packaging alone is not enough for me to justify the $15 more than this thing. With that said, if you can get it on sale, I think it's totally worth the money at like a 20% off range. So like, what's that, $31 and change? Yes, I would say $31, totally worth every fucking penny. I do want to point out some similarities though between this palette and this palette, which is the Yes Please palette, which I believe is technically the Natasha Denona dupe palette. So here are the 6 shades that I found that looked kind of similar between the ColourPop palette and the Tarte palette. So every first shade, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are ColourPop, while 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 are the Tarte shades. I would say that there's a lot of similarity between these 4 shades. This one, you can tell that the orange is pretty much different. One is definitely more red, while one's more of a brown, burnt orangey tone. These 2 light colors, the ColourPop one is definitely more pink, while this one's more of like a yellow undertone. And even this one, I think this one, the brown, is actually maybe a little bit more richer than this color. But yeah, there's some similarities there though. So you're probably saying to yourself, well, if I have the ColourPop Yes Please palette, why would I need this palette? And you're right, you technically don't need that palette because you already have this. And if you think about it, you probably have these shades 100 times over in your collection because there's nothing unique or amazing or revolutionary about this color story. It's been done time and time again. However, the biggest thing I will say about this compared to the other palettes that I own that have similar color stories in my collection is that I like the quality of these more. I swear to God, I had no fucking issue with any of these. I'm still shocked because I just don't understand how. Considering I have a real love-hate relationship with Tarte, but this was a great palette and I highly do recommend it. So with that said, if you are interested in getting this palette, I would totally recommend waiting for it to go on sale, only because I think $39 is pretty fucking steep, and considering like how the packaging looks and the amount of colors that you get when you compare it to the Icy Betch palette, you know, you're basically paying $15 more for a fucking blush, which is bullshit in my books. So if you can get it for like 29 to 30 bucks, I feel like that would be better. Of course, if you have a shitload of Ulta points, I say fucking redeem it. I do not think you're going to be disappointed with this palette. It's a very pretty palette and I think it's going to be very appropriate for the upcoming seasons. So yeah. Dude, I have no idea who the fuck I am right now. So Adelaine Morin, congratulations to you. I really do wish you nothing but success with this palette because it's pretty, it's awesome, and yeah. Congratulations. Very happy for you. So with that said, I want to hear from you guys. Let me know down below if you are interested in getting this palette, if you care, if you don't give a fuck, if you're over this color story, whatever. I'm always dying to know. And yeah, I guess that's about it. I want to say thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate it as always. Feel free to like, comment, hit that subscribe button. It's free. And hit that bell icon for notification of all my future posts. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, out in the streets, in life, at your local Ulta. And I'll see you little pumpkins later. Bye.